Okay, final part of Escape from Butcher Bay, in which we are actually, for real this time, going to escape from said bay of butchers. Alright. And this final act is definitely gonna be like the shorter, definitely like the shortest as far as like actual game time compared to the past two streams of this. So, yeah, exercise area is where we left off. Get right into it.
Your mandatory 2 minutes of daily exercise begins now. According to law number 88432-7B,
So yeah.
this is your right as a guilt prisoner, and your only right. A proposition to abolish law
Yeah, this is very much like the rawest, like, position you could be put in at this prison, where you're just kept in cold storage and are forced to be woken up for 2 minutes, be completely disoriented during that time, and then go right back into your box. Though I do appreciate the detail of, as you approach these different sections of the room, you hear different, like, sound effects, which is a real, like, in the context of this prison, it's a pretty messed up, it's still very sterile feeling way of, like, trying to convey different, like, emotions or thoughts or whatever. And this leads into what is a puzzle that definitely took me a couple tries to figure out what I'm supposed to do.
This exercise appointment will be shared by multiple prisoners. All contact is forbidden.
Haven't seen anybody yet. You fucking keep me. Talk to me.
Yeah. Also, being in cryo sleep for super long does bad stuff to your brain, like mental degeneration, that kind of thing.
Remember these words of wisdom. Think before you act, then act with your heart.
Yeah, that's basically the mechanism for how it works, because otherwise this, aside from those pods being delivered, there is no way in here.
Your 2 minutes of daily exercise begins now. This exercise appointment will be shared
So yeah,
by multiple
the way you're
prisoners.
actually supposed to do this is based on if you're observing what goes on in this, like, part of the game. Like,
Today is
the idea of, well, assuming that it works, is that you're supposed to basically get into one of the pods that is meant for one of the other prisoners, lay in there, remove their body when the crane tries to put it back, and then you'll be able to get out of here for a little while before the sedatives in your suit kick in all over. Admittedly, it's been so long since I've actually had this section go for as long as it does, because normally after you pass out the first time, that's when I immediately go to the next pod and just trigger the following sequence.
Try to sleep. Rest without the peace. Need to find a way out.
this exercise appointment
Yeah,
will be shared by
this cryo cell.
all contact is forbidden.
Yeah, and of course, if you go a few times, continuing to pass out, Riddick eventually makes mention of what you're supposed to do.
This trip These visions, all a blur. I only held on to reach my destination. But one gets tired of being taken for a ride.
Look at all these very obvious stills and, like, promotional images for the Chronicles of Riddick film. Could not be any more obvious. What with the quality of, like, those freaking JPEGs next to this gorgeous, gorgeous game running at higher resolutions than it ever could have back in 2004. And there you go. That's how you get free, once again. An extra club for good measure. Oh. Yeah, there's still sedatives in this suit, so we have to pass out, which leads to this.
Attention, we have lost a security breach in the cryo pyramids level 3. Report all unscheduled activity immediately.
Yeah. There's really no way that you can effectively stealth around these guys before making your escape. It's impossible. You just gotta run and take the damage. It's kinda lame, but whatever.
Attention, unscheduled presence reported. Please investigate immediately.
This club's very important when dealing with these little drones. Also, even though this game clearly came out months before Half-Life 2 did, I definitely get a lot of, like, Citadel vibes from this. But, like, everything's, like, significantly brighter. Just that constant feeling that you have made it to the top of this monstrous metal behemoth. Come on, what you got? There we go. Okay. Up the stairs this way. Oh yeah. I think I also remember there's definitely some... There's a guard around here. Nailed it!
Security doors opened at unscheduled time. Notifying system administration.
Alright. Oh yeah, another cigarette in here. There's no smoking section in heaven. Hey, you don't know that. Why did it not pick up the shotgun? I thought it did. Oh, whatever. Yeah, there's no med station up in this room area. I have to go back a little bit. Ah. Completely missed that. Forgot that, like, one of those is supposed to drop down into the hole. He did, yeah. This is the, these are the garbs for people that are sent to Triple Max, which, like, basically doubles as, like, yeah, kind of spacey, but definitely more designed for, basically automatically sedating people so they can be put into cryo sleep. But we broke out of that. You missed the start of that particular puzzle and how you break free, which is very interesting. It goes to show, like, no matter how tight you, like, design things to be impenetrable or impossible to escape, like, Riddick will always find, like, a hole or, like, a flaw somewhere and exploit it. He takes the hand he was dealt and then he cheats, but right now, this is, I think, like, the biggest set piece that happens here during Triple Max. We get a little mini mecha.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the mines were pretty extensive. Double Max is very much like the biggest section of the entire game. Okay.
Pilot secured. Welcome, new user of Heavy Guard 874. The Heavy Guard 874 is a first class.
Not quite Armored Core. Yeah. Admittedly, this is one of those sections where the clunk, you know, like the deliberate weight of it all definitely feels like the sort of thing where it was meant to be played with a controller, and only that. It, like, you start to notice the, like, the lengthy turn radius and such a whole lot more when you have a mouse and you try to whip around, but it takes forever to get up. Okay. Though the best part about this section, arguably, is the onboard computer for your Heavy Guard. Because it... both just because of the voice, but also, like, it'll comment on your piloting ability as you're going through it and, like, remark how, you know, like, advice to pilots, stop running into walls. Now let's see, let's get this dude to come around the corner. Yeah, see, like so. Just telling me to do exactly what I'd already been doing. But if only I could get to a good angle. I know that. But the even better part later on is that it makes the suggestion that in order to conserve ammo, you should just run over people. Oh. It's like if they gave Ed 209 a dry wit of some sort. Okay. This whole hallway is so good. Because it's like the small arms on these guards is... well, yeah. As I was saying, yeah, it's just this whole area, it exudes so much, like, of a sense of power that you have over all these enemies. Like, their bullets are just bouncing off you, you're going through the hallway, like, the impact of your footsteps is breaking the glass, and, like, busting up the floorboards. Like, it looks cool here, but it was, like, if you were, like, looking at this on the original Xbox when it first launched, like, I'm pretty sure, like, for many people, this would have been, like, the most incredible thing. There's so many little details happening on a graphical and technical level. Man, Starbreeze really did peak with this. Even with the amount of, like, devs that jumped from that to Machine Games, even at Machine Games, their best, like, Wolfenstein games early on were just still nothing compared to this. Exactly, floorboard physics are definitely entertaining. You don't see it enough with, like, other games that try and have something like this with the, with you piloting something that's very heavy. Because if you go with a really giant robot, then, like, having physics for floorboards popping up is kind of, like, minor in the grand scheme of things because you want other stuff to fall apart and be destructible. Yeah. We good? Yep, we're good. And of course, lights are still destructible. Not like hiding in darkness is really gonna be of any importance during this. I mean, heck, you can't even activate your eye shine when in here. Which is an interesting detail because they let you do it when you were in the powered armor, the riot guard. I'm pretty sure anyone that's authorized to do maintenance on this is clearly dead by this point. Yeah, that's right. Just keep losing your minds. Okay, what else we got? Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is the room. I think... Yeah. Gonna kill this thing quick before it kills me. Okay. And that's the end of the heavy guard section.
Once the pilot has left this unit, pilot is solely responsible for pilot's health. No insurance is valid.
Good to know. For men with strong character only. Yeah, see ya, space cowboy. Now, pushing this button and going through the door will lead us to the very final, I guess, set piece, as it were, of this game. More like a final boss, but I feel like that's overselling it because it's not that great. It's kind of similar in feel to, like, when you fought the Heavy Guard at the end of Double Max. Like, it's tough, but, you know, it's established and well-known. Bosses in first-person games, generally not that great.
Come on, prisoner. Give up.
Riddick, get in.
How's the back?
It's been better. I'm taking you to another slam, Riddick. We're getting out of Butcher Bay together. That'll teach Hoxley to fuck with me.
Now you're learning, Johns.
I even stiffed the bastard on the med fees. And you know the drill.
Good to note this game was very consistent in making sure Johns' character was consistent with Pitch Black. Because he's always a piece of garbage.
Let's play. Who's the better killer?
Ah, yeah, a line that would get play once again in the feature film, The Chronicles of Riddick. Also, hi, Hoxie. Sorry about your office. Actually, not really. You're totally gonna die.
Not alive.
Riddick.
What do you give me for him anyway, Hans?
We'll work a deal, Riddick. John's for you. Straight up. Anything, anything. Just tell me what you want, Riddick, and I'll make it happen.
I wanted to be left alone.
I can respect that.
Let me give you some advice, Riddick. When you make a threat, be prepared to back it up. I'll give you a love.
Panic box activated. Alright. Now this is not great. But we got a minigun, so let's just tank the fuck out of these things. Like, these are basically fancier riot guards that have the ability to cloak. There are technically multiple ways you could go about this. Like, if you're very quick about it, you could grab a shotgun and shoot out the lights. And that way, you get darkness to provide cover. And even be able to see them when cloaked because of the eye shine. But, I mean, that's clearly not necessary. We got a minigun. But yeah. And, oh my goodness, 23 minutes in and we cleared, like, the last playable segment of this game. I keep overestimating how, like, what the length of Triple Max actually is. I forget how short it is.
The codes to your ship.
No, shit, Riddick. You wouldn't.
Wouldn't what?
Yeah, they
What
kind of
wouldn't I do,
do.
Roxy?
I don't know, I feel like especially because of the red color scheme, I feel like that they could be like 40K-esque, I don't know.
Walk, Johns.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, but here's some
Maybe. But I wouldn't try to
here's
find
a
out.
good moment.
Good. How's your eyesight?
Converge on the warden's office. We have a hostage situation.
Riddick's the one wearing the goggles. Kill him on sight.
But what if someone else is wearing the goggles?
That's him. Fire.
That wasn't even close to him. He was bald. Riddick doesn't even have hair. But yeah. Hoxie gets done in. While doubling as providing a means for Riddick and Johns to
You know,
get
Johns,
off.
Statistically, takeoffs are the most dangerous.
No shit. I thought you said landings were.
Yeah. Guess it depends on who you have at the control.
Though I hope Riddick's got like a spare set of goggles or something in that ship because, you know, it'd be real annoying for him to have to keep squinting for the next who knows how many days. Oh yeah, thanks for telling me I've unlocked commentary mode, even though I already did that on this profile like 2 playthroughs ago or something. Yeah, this game had a commentary mode. They basically beat Valve to the punch before they ever started doing that with a number of their games on Source Engine, you know, with like Episode 2, both Portal games. Yeah, and it's neat. Admittedly, I've still not gone through the commentary mode on this all the way. I still need to. The only thing that like doesn't make me want to go into it immediately right out the gate is that when you start a new game, that basically overrides all the checkpoints that you have unlocked. Because this game really, like, for whatever reason, because of how the engine's set up, there's no traditional, like, chapter select in a way. Like, you technically get a chapter select as you keep going through the game and unlock the different checkpoints, but as soon as you start a new game on a different difficulty or commentary mode, it basically erases that whole checkpoint list, and you have to unlock them all over again. It's weird. But yeah, this is still a great game. And this is definitely, I feel like, the definitive version to get if you have any interest in trying it. Especially since, like, You know, like any other like there are no official means to like buy this game from any like distributor because of the license. You know, Dark Athena's been delisted. You could get like an original Xbox copy if you have the system, but obviously you'd then be playing this game at a dynamic resolution that goes below 480p. So yeah, it's like just get an ISO of this, run it, get the NVIDIA profile inspector, and change a couple parameters to make sure that like it absolutely runs and you can access like the good shader options, and then you're good to go. You can basically play this game just like how I did, you know? It takes nothing to run this at whatever resolution that your system and monitor will output it at, or frame rate for that matter. In fact, I don't think that's actually something I've never thought of doing, which was getting like an actual frame rate counter to go with this, because it's obviously, I'm not playing this through Steam or anything, but I'd be curious to see if it totally is like just outputting to like whatever like my refresh rate is on my laptop, or if it is just automatically v-syncing it to like 60 or something. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if that was the latter, because even though I feel this was around the time that like PC games were definitely starting to get better about that on a technical level, I feel this is still just late enough that it probably would have had like some weird frame rate timing fuckery that they just couldn't leave it unlocked past a certain point. Yeah. Actually, I think I'm gonna skip these credits because I know it plays one final cutscene which serves as like the final link to the whole Chronicles of Riddick movie that this game was designed to lead into.
Butcher Bay, why are you here?
It is only you that matters, Riddick. They realize this, and that is why they are coming.
Oh, you mean Carl Urban and his Art Deco undead buddies?
The only way you can stop them is if you know who you are.
Yeah, it's definitely very stable running.
Some of us still remember the true crime that happened on Furio.
Oh,
Once
man.
you awake, truly
They
awake,
pushed for this
you
so
will
hard.
forget.
And it just resulted in the dumbest, most limp-looking sci-fi schlock ever. That is still kind of a guilty pleasure, to a degree. It's just, oh man, just look at that. Look at this very clearly, like, edited down trailer to fit in the context of this ending cutscene.
The dead have seen the end of war.
Oh my
And
goodness.
before I'm through, the afterlife is gonna get a whole lot more crowded.
Clearly it's the Underverse. Whatever. But yeah. Okay, I know, we're like half an hour in, but like, I kind of like alluded to before that, like, because of how short the final act of this game is, there's a lot of extra content that kind of extends beyond just the game concept art. So I figured, hey, why not show off some of this stuff? Like we got an animation showroom, if you want to see all those fancy fancy kills. Oh yeah, I see you did notice the G4 TechTV. Yeah, this was definitely one of those games from, like, because of the time it came out and the fact that TechTV back then was more than just X-Play, Attack of the Show, and endless reruns of Cops. So, but, like, it's actually kind of funny watching that again, just because of how very fluff-oriented it is and how very little of substantial is said for the amount of airtime that special got. But yeah, let's just look at this. You get to do the, you get to trigger the different kill animations. One button lets you see them in first person, the other from third person. And it makes you realize that they did a good job of, like, making sure that these would look good regardless of the angle that they went with. And of course, all of these animations are done on Johns. Because Johns had it coming. He just had to wait until pitch black happened. And then him and Riddick had that awesome fist fight. That scene is so good. Yeah. Yeah, they... And the thing with this particular showroom is that you are only able to get access to it if you've collected all the cigarettes throughout the game. And once you do, that's basically when this unlocks. And I'd say, considering how most of the rewards for each cigarette are just concept art pieces, this is definitely a good reward for going through all that hunting for every single carton. Yeah, just... Oh, it's so smooth. Like, they were really proud of these animations that it's like... Whatever it was looking like during the prototype phase of making this game, I feel like they would have been set for going either way. Either sticking with the first-person perspective we got, or, like, including the... or just going full third-person just to show off more Vin. Yeah, that's basically, like, I think the biggest mark you can go for when, like, highlighting how good an animation is if you can notice, like, the subtleties or, like, specific, like, delivered motions of one's feet. Because I feel it's very easy to emphasize, you know, all the upper body actions, because that's where a lot of, like, these kills are going, but positioning's important too, you know? Like, cool animations in fighting games are very much the same way. They may involve a lot of, like, cool punches and flying kicks and other nonsense, but it's like, if they got good footwork as the foundation, then that's how you know they're, like, off to a good start. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just, like, both the footwork and both, like, just, like, the flow of how things animate, just to convey any sort of, like, buildup of energy and then going into the release. Absolutely. Actually, I forget if there's anything specific up these stairs. Oh, yeah, there are. Unless... Wait, hold on. That's B. I'm actually going to double check down here to make sure that that I've done a full circle around on the A ring and see how things look. Because it's like, once I loop back around to the start, then we'll go up those stairs. Yeah. And you know what's also the other nice thing about this animation showroom? It's that so many of these animations, because of how this game's, like, counter system or whatever is designed, you're pretty much never going to be able to see these in normal play. Oh yeah, and here's one that can only be seen in third person, because it's designed for when you fall on someone from a height. Although that looked kind of weird though, because yeah, he just didn't even look like he fell onto Johns. He just, like, teleported a few feet forward and just nudged him. Yeah, kind of karate chop looking. Man. So much shanking. And you know, Johns, maybe this would not have had to happen to you if you weren't so greedy, a crippling morphine addict, to the point that you deprive a ship captain of any morphine that could have been used to help with his wounds. Or making a suggestion of sacrificing a child to a bunch of predatory nocturnal raptors and trying to suggest to Riddick that that's totally a good idea. Yeah, you're not supposed to like Johns. Even if, like, this was somehow your first and only introduction to Riddick, you see the rest of the series, it's like, nah. Riddick, in a bizarre way, is like the more moral character of all things, and he's supposed to be the killer. Okay, some of these animations though are kind of falling apart, because, like, That's specifically the push animation you're supposed to do to that one dude in the mines where you could push him into like a ceiling fan. But yeah, just for whatever reason. Okay, yeah, now we've looped back around. This is A1. But yeah, some of these animations, like the actual animations themselves, are very solid and when working in context, but obviously when it's multiple animations interacting with one another, that's something that is still, even today, still kind of janky. Like, this game, even in its cutscenes, has moments in which characters pass off an item from one hand to another. And it's impressive how well it turns out, even though if you look really closely, you can tell that they're, like, that they don't always 100% line up. But they tried. They tried so hard, and, like, the reward was one of the best licensed games just made ever. Based on any IP. Like, people gave so much props to Arkham Asylum when that came out, and that's got a lot of good elements, but even then, that's still nowhere close to this. Go to horny jail, Johns. Oh, wait, you're dead. Well, you could be horny in hell, then. Oh, goddamn. Freaking jump scares. Free space. Contact scripter with design ideas. Just turns on the lights. Good to know. Yeah, and it's like, well, I mean, I guess there is, like, enough similarities between the two, because the point of Arkham Asylum was that Batman is basically stuck in Arkham Asylum, you know? But, I mean, the difference between that is that you could eventually explore the whole area sort of non-linearly. Like, it took, like, I guess, like, the main difference you could say between this and Arkham Asylum is that Asylum took clear, like, loose inspirations from Metroidvanias, whereas this was way more, like, upfront with taking inspiration from Half-Life. Yeah. And I think, in that sense, it might work a bit better in this case, but I don't know, it's like, because, like, both games have melee combat. Oh, you mean as in not tied or based on a story within Batman? Yeah, not really. Yeah, it was very much more of its original thing, but I think the fact that it's still based on an existing IP that has been around outside of video games, like that's where its origin point is, I think that's where it still counts in the discussion. That's how I see it. Like, at least both games have the right idea and understanding that if you want to make something like this and adapt it to a different medium, it is best to go out of your way to make an original story and setting to take proper advantage of it, you know? Though by the same token, in Riddick's case, I wonder how, like, potentially entertainingly, like, or like, entertainingly bad a game that was taking a lot more directly from the upcoming movie would have been like. Because the Chronicles of Riddick film is so much just trying to be like a dumb sci-fi action flick. But I think that would have like, I think that would have been a lot harder for anyone to try and get on board with making something like that, simply because I think the only thing I would accept is something like a character action game. And around this time, the only big players in town you would have gotten were Capcom because of DMC and Team Ninja because of Ninja Gaiden. But yeah, for how much, like, there's a bunch of, like, dumb CG flipping nonsense, like, wire-fu bullshit in Chronicles of Riddick, it probably would have translated not too badly to, like, a third-person action game. But it still would have been Chronicles of Riddick. Man, I do all this ragging on that movie, but I feel like after a point I do need to just watch it again just to kind of get refreshed on the specifics of how, like, schlocky it is. Because at the very least, I still, like, as is, I feel, the case with anything to do with, like, this whole series, it's only worth it if Vin Diesel is in it. Because he makes the character, and the character manages to carry enough of the entertainment value for what would otherwise be, like, a schlock-filled, kind of forgettable, dark sci-fi universe. Whoa. It's Big Johns and Little Johns. What the? Okay. Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely one of his best. Yeah, he's... Maybe he has, but we haven't gone through all of the booths on this upper level. Yeah. But whatever. Again, he's not had enough until he's had his entire upper torso bitten off by a nocturnal alien velociraptor. Otherwise called a bioraptor. Because sure, this universe, like, clearly needs more generic as hell, like, names for its different alien life forms and whatnot. Yeah. Pitch Black is still fun. And funny enough, I've still not actually watched in full the, Yeah, it is kind of a good name. I mean, like, it has a generic feeling quality to it, but it at least, like, it worked for them. Like, those creatures in Pitch Black that are called bioraptors, they are raptor-like. With little infant versions of them, I am positive Cliffy B and, like, the Gears of War devs, like, watched Pitch Black years ago and based, like, those tiny bioraptors as, like, the inspiration for the Krill. Because they do the exact same thing. They fly like bats in swarms and just ravenously, like tear any of its prey to pieces. But yeah, it's like, I'm actually sort of thinking, it's like I've watched Pitch Black, I've watched Chronicles of Riddick, for better or worse, but I've still not watched the 2013 Riddick movie. Like, all I really know of it is that I've only just seen, like just short clips of it that are, like, available on YouTube or whatever, and it's like... it definitely gave me the vibe of, like, that Riddick movie, that it was trying so hard to get back to a lot of the qualities of Pitch Black that people liked, while still acknowledging and keeping some of, like, the later, like, additions from, like, the other media, you know, like the, because, like, the Necromongers are still in there. It takes place directly after the end of the last movie. But, yeah. At least it's R-rated and appropriately gory. Plus, like, there's, like, a whole section early on in the Riddick movie where Riddick himself just gets marooned on a planet and finds an alien puppy, adopts it, and trains it, and they basically are, like, they're basically working together to survive against, like, the hostile alien life forms on the planet. And then some mercs had to come around and kill his dog, and they basically try and pull a John Wick on him years before John Wick actually happened. Yep, totally, Space John Wick. Oh, yeah. Plus, it has one of the, like, most interesting kills that is up there with Riddick killing a guard with a teacup in Chronicles. It's where he basically promises to one of the mercs who's chained him up that, like, when the chains come off, I will kill you in the first 5 seconds. And then when one of the chains get loose on his bindings, he kicks the dude against the wall, which causes his machete to drop out of his hand, fly into the air, kicks the machete into his face, and cleaves him off within 5 seconds. And I know that because the other mercs that are watching actually timed it and realized, oh wow, he wasn't kidding. Anyway, here's a DVD trailer for Chronicles of Riddick.
Evil threatens the existence of man.
Then kill every last human life.
Now.
Convert now, or fall forever.
The resistance begins.
Are you with me?
You are not the one
say so.
Now on DVD and video. Also an unrated director's cut.
Not like the unrated version did much to fix it. Anyway. Oh yeah, the first-person fighting test. Yeah, that's right, because even, like, at the earliest stages when Starbreeze were, like, pitching for this game, they didn't even have the Chronicles of Riddick name yet to go off of. They were just going, yeah, we're making a game based on Pitch Black. Oh my goodness, this video is so compressed. And that was it. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the G4 TechTV special. This is, yeah, we're gonna play this as a weird piece of nostalgia, and you'll see what I mean where, like, where, like, a lot of the stuff people are talking about is just so, it is so fluff.
I try to kick
Yeah.
as much ass as I can with what little I have. Darkness. You afraid? I'm not.
When you take a talented team of artists, when you see that game on the screen, you say, wow, what is that?
Oh, hey, Dorito Pope.
You see Vin Diesel there, and he's
Oh, yeah, young Jeff.
Lifelike. It's somewhat scary how realistic the graphics really are.
I mean, that line he said, I'd say is still actually true. Even with how, like, much older these graphics are, Vin's likeness really is, like, it unironically makes him the best-looking character and most lifelike in this entire game. Because it's just a bald dude, you know? There's not many more features you need to try and model into him.
The tone of the game and mood is to really feel like Riddick. Character building is extremely important. You want to feel.
But
like
yeah,
you
man,
are
Jeff
this
Keighley back when he was younger. It's easy to meme on him just because of the whole Doritos Popes stuff and the Game Awards, but like, real talk though, his Final Hour series for the games that he did, like for Half-Life 1 and 2, are like still some of the best as in like the history of games journalism, which is important considering how most of games journalism in its history isn't that great. Yeah, in a way we still do kind of need him. Yeah, these bumpers that G4 always used to make for like their old shows were so weird. Very, very early to mid-2000s.
A group of young programmers in Sweden were learning how to make games.
My first introduction to games was with the Spectrum computer, and
oh, they were, yeah.
Love that. I like hack and slash.
I was always impressed when
they just all got like Kevin Brera, Adam Sessler, Morgan Webb, all those people into a room and were like, hey, we got a great idea for like a TV channel. By the way, want some space weed?
Soon, friends become a company.
And to think that like they've been trying to get that channel back, like on the air, and like starting back up stuff like X-Play and Attack of the Show, which is like in the grand scheme of like entertainment revivals, I really do not know how vital it really is that the world needs more of G4. Like I was all for when Toonami came back. When Adult Swim did that April Fool's joke and was like, oh wait, people actually still miss Toonami and want more of this. Yeah, let's bring it back. Like, that I think was still doing a good service as far as like giving something of value back to Cartoon Network.
It's quite a unique thing. It's a game production company.
Yeah, I guess so. I think just the other thing that kind of that made me more skeptical about the whole thing was that because TechTV, G4 TechTV, like that whole era was like, it was more than just Attack of the Show and X-Play. You know, it was cheat. They had icons. They had like Arena, which was like basically the earliest, I think, like example I can think of esports technically being played on television. You know. But like there was just a point in the mid 2000s, like basically around the time the 360, PS3, like those systems came out, that like they just downscaled it back. All they left was X Play and Attack of the Show, and then just started playing like reruns of Cops ad nauseum, Star Trek TNG, and oh god, I just remembered the Man Show. Yeah, that is a show that I just mentioned that could never ever be made again today. Oh, what an amazingly like toxically masculine, sexist like concept on its face.
Enclave and the type of style, I thought this is really cool for us to do.
Yeah. You know, I think maybe in the grand scheme of things, like, it wasn't all bad even when they were downscaling. They were probably still ultimately better than Spike.
Them doing a port of the Xbox version to the PC. After going through Enclave and looking at it, we felt they were a perfect match to do.
I should honestly maybe take a look at Enclave or something.
And then they approached us with Pitch
because
Black
it's so
instead,
easy to forget that Starbreeze technically made a game like years before this one.
The same as Fantasy, the guys wanted to do something new and do futuristic games, so Pitch Black is
those old PC CRT monitors are taking me back.
Riddick's their first game that we're involved with.
It's a shame that like trying to get like VGA scalar down converters, whatever the hell, working on like on regular CRT TVs is such a pain. Because otherwise, if there was like an easy way to do it, I would totally just settle on like getting a new CRT to hold on to, rather than thinking, oh yeah, I'll get a CRT and a CRT PC monitor, you know?
All coming together to make this gaming experience. You're gonna have something that is, you know, a home run.
And man, of all these companies involved in this, Tygon is the one that I think I am always liable to forget first. Because I know, like, that's Vin's company. That's, like, what is responsible for, like, taking these IPs that star him and, like, finding other developers and publishers to work with and making it happen. But I keep forgetting that it exists. Even though Vin has clearly been starring in games every now and then and is set to star in another one. So yeah, like, Tygon's still around. Yeah, Arc 2.
But since we had a chance to do
I said it in the first stream, I'm still not going to play either Arc or Arc 2, be it in my own time or on this stream. It's just not in my wheelhouse, even though Vin is in it.
You know, epic universe with all these characters and planets and locations. We can concentrate on making a great game.
Before work on the game can begin,
the dark.
There are a few things to settle, like what the game will be about.
Being a producer on the Chronicles of Riddick allows me to lace.
Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at what all those cutscenes will be like.
Complements the movie. There's information in the video game that helps.
Still, regardless of like what Vin has done in the last several years that are game related and not having to do with Riddick, I still appreciate that he's like one of the earliest examples we learned of, I feel like, of like entertainment personalities that are totally into video games and not in like a fake poser kind of way, but like in a way where it's like, oh yeah, he's totally into all this same nerdy stuff that we are, you know? Like, the most modern example I can think of someone tapping into that same energy is Henry Cavill, you know? Like you know, like, he starred as Geralt in the Witcher series, not because, like, not just because they wanted to, like, hire him for it because he was big. He was like, no, he totally digs The Witcher. Yeah, Brie Larson too, and like, oh yeah, and Jamie Lee Curtis also is like a big fan. Like, she cosplayed as Vega that one time. That was dope. Yeah, it's like
the game is set 10 years before the movie.
Yeah, people like them coming out and just doing it in a way that like shows that they're totally into these things in a way that feels like natural and not forced. It's always good to see.
So a player that gets
in
and then goes and sees.
Oh yeah, I remember that interview.
The movie, then someone that just goes to see the film.
It's not just a play of the movie.
Oh, of course.
Come talk to me for a second, will you?
It's actually conceived as a prequel to the movie. So the idea is that you'll play the game before the movie comes out, and it'll sort of lead you up to the actual film.
Yeah.
And this is
and you know,
sort of
good
some
on her.
story that was dreamed up by the game developers and had nothing to do with the movie team. David Toy, who actually created the universe, he worked alongside the game developers.
Oh yeah, David Toy.
So it would really lead up to the movie.
Hope when this pandemic is all settled and behind us, that hopefully he can like one of the first things that can like get into much quicker production is a new Riddick movie. Because he said that he and Vin both want to do a fourth one, but that was like quite a few years ago. And with how the pandemic has just raged on, like any sort of big productions like this have already had to be like scaled back for like health reasons.
You can then take ideas that you don't have time for in the movie and now incorporate them into the video game in a cool way. The pit looks like a way out. So now the video game player is experiencing story firsthand in an intimate and interactive way.
I also like, as a small detail, that Vin doesn't just throw out the term gamer. Like, he refers to the people playing these games as video game players, which, yes, it's longer, but honestly, it feels more dignified than how the term gamer has been used. Especially when, in its earliest conception, that people always forget is that it was straight up used by EA to describe people playing their games. It always had a marketing bent to the term. But then it just had to get co-opted several years later by alt-right incel dirtbags, pretty much.
He doesn't really care.
It ain't the fall that gets you.
He also has these features that make him good for a game.
You have been blind for far too long, but your world is about to get more colorful.
He has his Riddick eye shine. He has his story about his previous life. Mystified character in a way. So he's really good and fits the game perfectly.
What do you see? Everything.
But even the best games can fall flat.
It really is, yeah.
Once the developers have found a setting for Riddick, they find things for him to do.
So there is a really balanced blend of stealth, frenetic shooting, or intelligent navigation,
locked
to get further along in the game.
Not a problem.
And there are multiple ways of achieving an objective as well, so you can choose to be more stealthy or frenetic.
Yeah, this whole feature, like, on the whole, ain't too bad, but like because of like just how the because of how it's obviously edited and like the different things that people are saying, there's a lot of things where like and also because this was originally made for TV, that they are they're having to explain everything in like the very most surface ways possible while still being somewhat informative about it. You know, it has such a clearly different energy than what you've always seen with like written or video interviews on dedicated game websites, for instance.
If he uses it in a light room, it's gonna be a problem for him because it's gonna get so saturated and bright, so he can't use it there. But in dark areas, he can use this. To really use the eye shine is to first take out the lights in an area.
Who's breaking those lights?
How can we do gameplay and atmosphere?
Oh, dynamic lighting and stealth is such a fun thing to get working.
You hide around a corner and you see someone's shadow.
I'm still frustrated with how the stealth genre had gone, like, after this generation. Because, like, after Thief, like, kind of established that you don't need stealth to be purely based on line of sight, and how Splinter Cell clearly took that same approach. And then MGS3 with its camo, I really hope that, like, it would have kept going and refining those aspects a lot more, as opposed to just falling back on line of sight and like having a bunch of other abstractions to try and tell you, like, what your feedback is for stealth. That, and of course, just the saturation of games that aren't even really pure stealths and more designed as like aggressive stealth games where, like, even if you blow your cover, you can fight your way out to the point that it kind of nullifies the reason to even be stealthy. Yeah, I don't know. This has been such an unfortunate, like, gameplay style. Obviously, we're talking about it in the context of Riddick, which doesn't use it all the time. But at least even in this game, it's like, the moments where you could be stealthy, it always was beneficial just because you're so fragile. Yeah, it's like an option in most games, and like, and even compared to this, like, if you decide to forego the stealth option, you're not being overly punished for, like, damage. It's like the biggest problem I have with, like, MGS5, on top of the fact that it obviously was, like, an incomplete game, but just the fact that, like, they just gave you so many options to the point that it was clearly more fun to just treat the game like you're in that final... Like you're in that final combat scene in the movie Commando. Just running around the base, blowing everything up, not stopping for anything, just mass murder.
I'll be disappointed.
It was so frustrating that, like, the stealth option just felt so plain by comparison.
Cinematic as the film it's based on.
The technology in Riddick is the latest stuff you can see today. It's really using all the powers in the consoles and gives us an engine that can take care of the graphics.
Yeah, for 2004 standards, what they're saying is totally right. They literally beat Doom 3 to the punch by several months for, like, a game with, like, this level of dynamic lighting. I mean, they couldn't, I mean, like, the technique they had wasn't Carmack's inverse. But at least they put out a game that was well-designed and not a tech demo.
Depth and texture to a character, and it makes it more realistic, more like life. The shadows look more detailed and more intense, and therefore when you look at a normal map character, you automatically say, alright, that's more like reality, that's where games should really go.
The tone of the game and mood is to...
We really do need more games these days with, like, very harsh contrast shadows like this. It very much felt like the sort of thing that got downplayed heavily, like, once you got to games with actual HD development pipelines.
And real, but it doesn't look like blobs on the face, it's just the really detailed face of Riddick.
There's a finesse to it that you see Vin Diesel there, and, you know, his muscles are buff, and when he walks, it almost looks lifelike. It's somewhat scary how realistic the graphics really are.
He did 3D scans so we could get really good features on the character and his voice.
You're not still mad about before, are you?
I think that's the best way to build the mood, is to have the...
It definitely is, yeah. Plus, I think it's just the sort of thing where with how photorealism in games has, for the most part, gone past, like, that uncanny valley to a degree. It's like, yeah, it's like, just for whatever reason, like, the way shadows look in this game just would not match up with what those kind of games go for. Like, it's all the different, like, yeah, the current lighting solutions or whatever just don't allow for it. If you want to go for those kind of harsh shadows, you're basically having to make a game that is more stylized looking by default. But honestly, that's still all for the better, you know?
He's part of this project.
Give me more style.
Get out of here. Also, to get the right feeling of the game. I mean, if you have uses somebody else's voice, it will be noticed.
Now you ain't paid me for that shank, so it ain't yours.
Come take it.
It's all this part of being perfect on everything. It's also, of course, to have the star's voice.
It belongs to me.
We got the VO for Vin, which is great to have in the game.
Now things get interesting.
Obviously.
Oh yeah, this is getting up to the part where they start talking about the voice actors and getting them in on the interview.
Gonna need some eyes.
Vin Diesel is actually an integral part of the game. And what Vin has done is he actually really participates in the development of the game. So yes, his likeness is there and his voice is part of the game.
Darkness.
but he's actually a producer on the game. And I mean, in the past, people would say, oh, you know, a actor doing a video game, he's just gonna wreck it.
I'm a real fighting game guy.
Oh yeah, a fighting game guy, you said. Would one of those games perhaps possibly be Tekken?
It shows that his involvement actually meant something with this project.
Yeah, it was just practice for Arc 2. Yo, Exhibit.
I'm in charge of the slam. Prisoner walking. We're telling the story basically of how Riddick before.
Yeah, I love Abbott.
This is where he was in the slam, and you know, he was a prisoner.
It's kind of a shame, like, that we're really like. I totally would have been down for like Exhibit playing a character in any of the other Riddick movies, but I mean, him getting this role in a video game is pretty good.
Transmitted a safe route through the minefield.
Originally, when I did this movie a little longer, 4 years ago, I was really excited about, you know.
Yeah, Cole Hauser.
Working with Vin and
it's kind of a shame though that with like the graphics technology at the time, they couldn't quite get your hair looking just like it does there. So much of like a slick back looking block of hair texture. Oh yeah, they had to censor out the F, like him saying fucking just because, you know, this was aired on TV. They had to abide by the rules.
And I'm asking him to recover his identity. Doing voiceover is really different. You're not actually on a set. You're often not there with the other actors, so you have to really, really have a rich imaginary world.
There is a fury within you.
And that's sometimes challenging.
Set it free.
Still missed the opportunity to not have some kind of fury and AoE blast. But whatever. Maybe they were hoping that they could have like made like another like third-person action game that would have allowed you to do that kind of nonsense.
So people played Halo, they said, hey, this looks great. I can't imagine graphics getting any better. And then here we have Riddick.
Oh, Halo. Yeah. Yeah, Halo 1 looks like the really like for the context of like when it came out, it always in a way that's kind of charming. It looks so much like the most Windows 2000 looking game ever, you know? Like even compared to like other games that were coming out on the other systems at the time in 2001. Yeah, it's got that GPU box art energy from the era. It absolutely does. Which is funny because they did make like an old trailer for that game. I think like back when it was like before it got moved to Xbox, they made like some sort of like NVIDIA promo trailer just to demonstrate like a card that was gonna. Oh yeah, that's right. That's what it was. The Macworld trailer. Yeah. Yeah, that was this is a real funny like way of going about trying to advertise a product that would go really well with your game. Funny enough, like you mentioned GPU box art, I think the last time I've seen anything that actually resembled that in my eyes was, funny enough, the box art for Vanquish. Like, because of the pose of Sam Gideon just rocket sliding and everything blurring past him. I remember specifically because like Vinny Caravella on Giant Bomb made that observation, and I think like made like a blog or forum post on Giant Bomb where he just took the box art and put it on like a old like ATI or like NVIDIA graphics card box. It was so on point. Yeah, typeface as well kind of is some evocative of that. So yeah, that was the yeah, that was that. But like we still got plenty of concept art to go through, and I think. Oh no, I can't cycle through it that way. Let's see. Yeah, early set design for the corporate offices. Actually, you know what? Honestly, I forget, because there's like a lot of concept art pieces, and with how I'd have to go through them all, like it'd be kind of a pain. But I do want to show off again, just for the silliness of it all, you know. Here's some stills from the Chronicles of Riddick movie. Here's New Mecha. It's so silly. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a prop that's, oh yeah, Lord Marshall's helmet. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be, like, finishing up here, because I think there's some extra, like, non-concept art, pieces near the end of this list, and once I show them off on the stream, I'll call it quits for this as well, because this was always gonna be a short one. But yeah, you have a good night. What am I gonna be streaming next? So I've had like a list of multiples, and I think I'm gonna stream RE4, but specifically the GameCube version because I have that, and like as seemingly counter to how most people would play it these days, that's still my preferred way of doing it. So yeah, I'll be bringing back the CRT filter for that. But yeah, it's just a matter of I don't know if it's gonna be this Friday or like the start of next week, because I've got other projects I'm trying to get out of the way as much as possible that involve using the other systems. But yeah, yeah, I'll obviously post and let you know when RE4 starts. Oh, any challenges? Just professional new game with the no, I need my attaché case upgrades and all that. It's like I respect the attaché case. I think when you watch me play, you'll realize how absolutely dedicated I am to keeping that thing organized at all times. Yeah. Yeah, again, it will either be this Friday when I decide to stream next, or I might push it back a little bit so that it starts on Monday for next week. We'll see how it goes and how open my my plans are. You have a good night, man. Okay, that was weird. I was thinking... like, oh my goodness, that frame rate. Yeah. You could tell that this was being, like, done on a hardware of the era and designed for an Xbox. Oh my goodness. But still, surprisingly consistent with, like... with, like, what the final game was gonna be.
These fuckers go berserk if you're not careful.
Yeah, I heard that. Life sucks, eh?
I've seen it myself. Truax cooked up a nest. Heads went off just like that.
Ah, heads off. I like that. Nice.
Hey,
what is with these voices?
Do I look like a junkie to you?
Oh my goodness, these are just Starbreeze employees. And like, someone doing their absolute best attempt at a Vin Diesel impression. Oh, this is priceless.
Hamid's your man.
Oh, wow. I've never sat through any of these in full, and now I'm glad I am.
Yeah, what? Ah, you're the one looking for Riker, huh?
All these, like, voice changer looking things.
Who are you? And how'd you know that?
Never mind that right now. Go check Riker out first. He's in the cave back there. Just watch those gas cans. So, did you find your friend Riker?
No.
Oh, wow. Man, still props to Starbreeze for thinking to include these sort of bonuses in here. And oh wow, that's an actual, like, eye indicators, like an extra thing for trying to show whether or not you're hidden or whatever. Yeah. Guess that was before they landed on the solution of just having the screen tinted blue. Oh, well, that's interesting. Stealth kill's not working? Oh, now it is. Yeah, even the guard's armor is still pretty much the same. This room as well. Oh, I'm loving this. Oh, I'm just loving, like, the early mid-dev jankiness of what I'm seeing. It is so real. I love it.
Any parts of Riker's body missing, huh? Bridget's been chewing on his ass? Maybe? Did you kill him? I have friends and I have enemies. Don't fuck with me. I am Jagger Valance. That idiot fucked me. So Riddick, your escape plan. Tell me, did you see the gas cans in that cave? And the creatures? What about them?
Wow, they basically originally designed it so that you had to pick all of Riddick's dialogue choices. That's interesting. Very old school computer RPG of them. But I can totally see why they trimmed that down.
Nice plan. Yeah, beautiful, isn't it? So, you rig the goddamn bomb and I go collect my maps over this place. Okay, where'd I get the bomb? There's this guy.
This Vin Diesel impression voice is still killing me.
Tight dog.
So hilarious.
Go visit Jupiter. Say something nice. You'll get the bomb. He's in Tower 19. Okay.
Oh, wow, that was interesting. Yo. A security checkpoint. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, might as well view this and see. Wait, there was originally like a grab function if you pressed both at once?
People make deals. Deals to protect your family, your job, your fucking savings account. All that bullshit that seems so important when nothing real is at stake. In here, your stake is your life. And the deal is simple. Behave, and you'll live. It's a deal written in blood on the walls of this place, enforced by Ditech Incorporated. My deal with Ditech is different. Actually, it's the other way around. You'd have to kill me to get me to behave.
Oh man, this Vin Diesel impression isn't even trying compared to the last guy. And still heavy Citadel 17 vibes from Half-Life 2, even though this was months before that came out.
That's awful.
Yeah, but it taught me a good lesson on prison time. Never expect a shorter term than what the old one did. You shown any of the vets your commitment disc?
Second day.
Good. I hate to tell you this, but never, and I mean...
Yeah, all this is so interesting. Oh. Yeah, they definitely did not have the game feel down right for the fist fighting just yet. Yeah, you could definitely see how like parts of this still remain as for the design of Tower 17 in the final game. But obviously major parts of it got changed as a result.
Know how to move around this place?
Well, yeah. I mean... No, you better talk to Red.
Talk to Red? Okay.
He's out in the yard. I saw him.
Fuck off! Back off or I'll blow your head off.
He's rude. Okay, so... I don't want to keep watching all of like these first playables and prototypes, because I have no idea how long they're going to end up going for is the thing. Oh yeah, here's the picture of like the core dev team. Nice. Although some are missing. Oh, God, that's right. They included the first chapter of the novelization. Oh, man. Movies and their novelizations for whatever reason. Yeah, I'm not gonna read this. At least not for the stream or anything. Let's just watch these last couple trailers for this dumb movie and then we'll call it quits.
By the superstitious, they are called the Hood of the Devil. By those who have seen the towering statues left behind on dead planets, they are simply called the End. Necromonger. It is the name that will convert or kill every last human life.
Convert now, or fall forever.
The more you resist them, the greater the damage will be.
I've made my choice.
Oh, man, this movie.
Consider it another test.
Kill Riddick.
Yeah, okay, so... Oh yeah, combo trailer.
June 1st, the all-new DVD release of Pitch Black, the film that started it all.
You're not afraid of the dark, are you?
Oh yeah. Unlike Chronicles of Riddick, Pitch Black is still totally fun.
All you people are so scared of me.
And reveal exclusive insight into his worlds.
But it ain't me you gotta worry about now.
Plus, get a free movie ticket inside the Pitch Black DVD to see the Chronicles of Riddick in theaters. Then, on June 15th, premiering exclusively on DVD. A startling vision of the Riddick universe.
Oh, right, Dark Fury. Weirdly enough, that is another piece of Riddick, Riddick media that I've still not actually watched. I mean, it's only... I think it's still supposed to be only half an hour, so... I mean, I guess... Yeah, maybe something to think about doing in the future. Wouldn't be wasting that much time doing it. Yeah. We'll watch this. Even in this compressed 4x3 footage that was designed more for an Xbox, there's still a very solid demonstration of how fantastic this game's tech still is. Look at those shadows. Look at those normal bump maps. Look at it. Look at it. Oh, man. Well, this music sounds weirdly James Bond-ish. I don't know. Yep, per pixel lighting. That's why you get the shadows looking as good and as sharp as they are.
Just a minute! There's been a cave in here! Anyone there? Nothing so far. Continuing investigation. No, nothing.
Still more or less pretty accurate to how this cutscene was in the final game. Yeah. But then again, they had this ready in like 2003. They pretty much had only like several months left to go. Oh my... Vin, what is wrong with your face? Just... What? Well, I think that's enough. An hour and a half seems fine. Obviously, I could pad that out more with looking at every single concept art piece and all the first playables, but it's like... I honestly don't know what else I could really say on it. You know? We finished the game, talked about all kinds of other stuff relating to the series. This game's still good. I'm gonna keep playing it for many more years to come and keep reminding people of how this is still the best licensed game ever. No question. Alright, so that's it for the stream. Good night, everyone. RE4 will be, again, like I said, in either a couple days or the start of next week. We'll see how it goes. Later.